All right, welcome into the show baseball podcast presented by prospectslive.com. I am your host, Andrew Parker, and today's episode I was joined by Max Carlson of the Red Sox organization, and Max is coming off being named the Eastern League Pitcher of the Week for Portland for his week that, he had 5 2/3 innings of no-hit baseball last week, and he also had 7 Ks in that span. So he did earn that recognition for his hot week, and it honestly dates back to even a further stretch. I mean, the months of June and July for him have been absolutely fantastic. He's held opponents to right around under a 600 OPS each month, and he's been good. He's been a strictly bullpen guy. He's been showing some bulks, some bulk inning appearances out there as well. So we kind of talk about that and, a little bit more on that. And it was good catching up with him. I had last had him on here back in 2024. So obviously always good to get in touch with him. But before I shoot to the interview, if you're watching me on YouTube right now, listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever it is you get your podcasts, liking and subscribing is a massive way to help me out and just show some love. And I always appreciate it. And if you go over to my YouTube channel, it's to the show BB Pod. And hit the subscribe button. It's completely free to do so. It means the world to me. I'm trying to push for 600 subs there. So any help is appreciated. But without further ado, let me shoot you on to the interview with Max Carlson. All right, Max, I appreciate you hopping on. Obviously, I'm sure you're aware, things are coming up UNC Tar Heels these days in the organization. I did want to ask, what did you think about, the recent draft and adding more UNC guys to the org?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, honestly. Those Tar Heels, they're good players, man. I didn't get to play with either of those guys, but I know Schaffner went to NDSU, I believe. So he's a little northern boy. And Hall, that guy was a beast. I watched him all year. And then even the third rounder, Jace, he's a Wisconsin boy, but he played for the Minnesota Blizzard. So that's the same club team I played for growing up. So a little connection there too.
A lot of ties to Max Carlson in the new draft class. I love to hear it. But all right, Max, you were just named the Eastern League Pitcher of the Week, and that's where I actually want to begin. You had 5 2/3 innings, 7 Ks, 0 hits, 0 runs. A nice little week for you this past week, and honestly, it comes out to even a bigger stretch that you've been on that you have been very, very solid. So I want to ask you, how are things going for you on the mound? I guess, where has what's been clicking for you just recently?
Yeah, that's a real loaded question after, the roller coaster of a season has been for me. But, coming into spring training felt really good. First month in Portland, just probably the worst pitcher in the Eastern League. And then, slowly but surely, the biggest thing I did over that big stretch of time was really, be where my feet are. And just try not to change who I am coming in the field every day and making sure that I get my work in. And I was like, it's going to come around. It's going to come around. And then, you just string a few together, your confidence starts coming back. And before you know it, you put together 2-3 good months of ball. That was the biggest thing for me, really. Obviously, over the time, the stretch of a month or two, the stuff ticked up a little bit and warmed up. I've definitely made a lot of improvements on my arsenal, but biggest thing was definitely just being where my feet are, coming in, being the same guy every day. And that was the big one.
I feel like I can't truly devalue how the cold weather in for anybody out there that is familiar with the Portland weather in early April, it is not fun to even just be out, and I can't even imagine trying to and I can't imagine trying to grip a baseball and trying to throw it after you were just in Fort Myers down in Florida, then you go to Portland, Maine, possible snow and everything like around opening day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you'd think I'm from Minnesota. He knows a little bit about that, but it's been 3 years I've lived in Fort
Yeah.
Myers, so not really used to the cold anymore. But you know, had some bright moments in the cold, but definitely, you know, something in the future that we're gonna have to figure out how to get things rolling in the cold. You know,
So was that like was it truly just as simple as like the weather turning when you started to feel better, or like what was the clicking point?
there's several different things I was working on. Juan Rivera and Isaiah Page, the two pitching coaches here in Portland. Both of them are extremely smart guys, and they're always thinking of something, just a little nugget you can have to keep in your back pocket, work on and catch play. And that's really what it was. Just working on things in catch play, taking uh, side days and doing all sorts of type of drills and velocity bullpens, whatever it was, to address the needs. You know, some big nuggets that I've figured out over the last couple months. Like my cutter, I've been like 83, 85 with my cutter in the past. I'm chucking it like 87, 89 now.
Okay.
Um, and then the heater velo has ticked back up. It was like 90, 91 at the beginning of the season. I've been like 2 to 3 recently. Um, those are just two things that I've noticed a significant change in that has uh, altered the performance a little bit.
Has that been like one of the I know that like once you go into the off season and into spring training, you guys do those like what are those like the developmental plans and things like that where they
Mhm.
maybe you guys have like some goals to work on, like has yours
Right.
been mostly centered around like velo and I guess has that been mostly what it's been?
Yeah, for the most part. And then, you know, we keep going down the line on things, that I've worked on this season. Um, After we sort of check those boxes, they sort of move towards like, oh, what can we do with your refined pitches? Like say the changeup. Um, Changeup gets a lot of whiff, but hey, it gets barreled a little bit against righties. What can we do about that? And then you kind of just take a look at trends, heat maps, and you kind of look at, oh, like instead of throwing your changeup into righties, like you should be backdooring it. You should be throwing it to the other side of the plate, and start chipping away at that. And that's sort of the thing I was working on the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I've ended up getting a lot of success with it. So just to give you an example of something that might not be velo based, like yes, a lot of it typically is velo based, but
Yeah.
um, that that's another thing that Juan and IP are really good at too, is finding things like that too. Of
Okay. Yeah, I kind of just gathered that, I know that I know obviously velo is king. I totally get that, but
course.
I do like hearing obviously some other examples like that just cuz obviously, velo is important, but it's not the end all
So,
be all. So,
right, right.
um in terms of like you're in an interesting situation to me. You've always been just from like watching you throughout the years, especially down in
Mhm,
Greenville and everything, like you've always been a very high strikeout guy. You've always been a guy that's kind of pitched out of the pen a little bit.
mhm.
Actually, like most of your career I feel like you've been out of the pen.
Yeah.
um how has your role been, I guess, this year? Because I feel like I've started to see you maybe give a little more length, and you're not just the one inning type of guy. Like, I guess, like what is
Mhm.
how have you felt in your role this year?
Yeah, I mean, after last year, that was a hell of a shoulder impingement I had last year, man. I'll tell you, it took a long time to get that thing healthy, and after rehabbing this off season and trying to get healthy, I kind of just told myself like, the only thing that matters for you this year, buddy, is just completing a whole year and staying healthy, and proving that to them, and done a good job at that so far. But I take that into account every day with, whether I'm starting, whether I'm relieving, whether I'm closing, whether I'm first guy out, like doesn't really matter the role. Like I'm kind of just grateful that I'm here and that I'm alive and I'm pitching. Um, so I'm grateful every day for that. But they, it's been really interesting to see how they manage bullpen arms and stuff in Portland this year. Most of the guys, honestly, have been able to go at least 2-3 innings, and I think it's just a testament to like, you know, if you're going to go up and help the big league team this year, you're most likely going to be going up there to throw 3-4 innings. You know, you're going to go up there to eat some innings and help them do a job, and I think that's sort of the general idea of how they're trying to prepare us. Um, but yeah, I think that's how things are going that way.
Okay. Yeah, and something as well, and and I'm sure you're seeing this as the years go by. I think we're just past the what was it, the 3-year anniversary of you getting drafted and turning pro.
Yeah.
Time kind of flies, by the way, but
Oh yeah.
um,
For sure.
I'm sure you've seen that, like, all the guys that you came in with, and I know there was one just traded, I think, this past week in Connolly from the draft
Yeah.
class. Like,
Yeah.
is it weird to you to see like all the guys that you came in with, like they're starting to, your draft class is starting to slowly like, kind of like dilute a little bit on all the guys you came in. Like, is that a weird feeling for you?
A little bit, man. The one that really hit me hard this year was Cade Feeney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Retiring just kind of felt like out of nowhere, but yeah, it's really it's a part of the game, man. It's really hard and it's really long is the big one, and it's sad, it's tough, but at the same time, a lot of those people that do end up getting released, retiring, whatever it is, they have a lot better things coming for them in the future of their life. So you can be happy for them there, whether it's being with another team or, getting a kick-ass job and making a bunch of money, whatever it is. But that's the sort of way I try and look at it. But it was a little sad, especially when Feeney got out there, man. He was a really good
Yeah.
buddy, a northern guy.
Yeah. Big
That's
big Cade
actually
Feeney
back
guy over
home.
here.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah, I don't know. I just sometimes when I look through the classes, obviously when you see a guy like Connolly get traded to this week, it's like, oh, it's another guy from like another one of the draft classes, homegrown guys, kind of
100%.
get moved away, and it's just like, I'm like, dang, you still got Max Carlson down there, that what, a 12th rounder, that pesky 12th rounder still sticking around in the org. So
He's hanging around. He's gonna figure it out here soon enough.
oh yeah. So well, I did lead off this earlier with, obviously you earning player of the week. Like, was this your it might have been your first one. Maybe you had one in Greenville at one point.
I don't remember. I think it is my first one.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
What Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how is that, like, I guess, is it pretty cool? Obviously, like, I know you weren't like going into the week being like, oh, I want to win like pitcher of the week with this week, but it happened, and
Oh,
it's like minor league baseball like puts it out and like put your name out there. Like, it's got to be
right.
somewhat of a cool feeling.
Yeah, I didn't really expect it. I didn't know they gave it out to relievers.
They will if you put up
But
no hits over 5 2/3.
yeah, no, it was pretty cool though. You got a bunch of really supportive teammates too. That's what I think makes it the most special. Is that you got guys around you that care about it too, and they congratulate you, make you feel good. So
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, obviously, you get the, Portland tweeting out the graphics and putting it on Instagram and stuff like that. It's like, it is
sure.
cool. So I do appreciate that.
I never post on Instagram or anything. So that it's like, something to post.
There it is.
There
Yeah.
we go.
I love it. And okay, so one of my last baseball questions, I have a few off the field stuff I want to ask after, but we're almost in August, so we got less than 2 months left, maybe, of the season. I think
Yeah.
it's kind of weird to say that, but
Yeah.
what how, I guess, do you have any like specific goals you're looking for at the end of the year? Like, what do you have left that you want to accomplish by end of season?
Yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, when they asked us for a goal for the season at the beginning of the year and stuff, the big one I put on there was just to be healthy.
Okay.
Um, so that's box number one is definitely just be healthy, uh, play the whole year out, finish the year. Um, Obviously, I didn't quite realize or think about that it is my Rule 5 year, but just keep having just a steady year. I don't know what's going to happen with all that. I don't really understand how all that works, but um, just want to put myself in a position to uh, have some success in the future. So
Yeah, that Rule 5 stuff, it'll drive you crazy. It drives me crazy,
yeah,
like, just trying to try to make sense of all of it, like, "Oh, this guy's eligible, this is possible." Yeah,
right,
yeah, I don't know.
right,
Can't even imagine how you would feel, and you're the guy in the position, so,
yeah.
um,
Quite honestly, didn't really think about it until I read it somewhere. And someone was like, "Oh, you know what I saw is I saw that Wii Hunt was Rule 5 eligible," and I was like, "Oh, I must be
yeah,
too." But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I just want to put myself in a position to, you know, be in the best position I can be to, make the next step, whether that's getting to AAA, invited big league camp, whatever it is.
okay. Yeah, that's, I don't know. I kind of agree with you. I've seen it in years past, just with, some of your teammates like, like Mullins and Blaze Jordan. It's like, just with the whole Rule 5 thing, it's like it's a lot. It's a lot of thinking about things that aren't even in your control. So it's tough.
Right.
So I had a couple questions left, and I haven't talked to you in a while, like on here. I think like we
Uh huh.
said off air. I think it was 2024. So I am curious, like what kind
Yeah.
of things you're up to these days, because it could have changed. I know
Yeah.
I probably asked you about like what you're doing off the field, but on like Monday off days or just like days you're not like doing anything baseball related, like what are you using your free time for these days?
Man, uh, pretty stock answer here. I play a lot of golf.
Okay,
I
okay.
I play a
That's a
lot of
normal.
video games. Yeah, play a lot of video games. There's Black Ops 2 just got re-released on the
Yep.
PS5, so been playing a lot of that. Not gonna lie, a lot
Okay.
of zombies. I like to spend a lot of time with my fiance. Obviously, she's not here with me right now. We
Well,
got
congrats, by
engaged.
the way.
We got engaged in December. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um,
Wedding planning is not very fun, but I'm sure you're aware already.
yeah, yeah, for sure. We're figuring it out, though. We're figuring it out. Um, but she's back home in Minnesota right now. She got to spend a couple months with me here in Portland, which was nice. Um, when I'm with her, we like to go visit places like over All Star break. We went to Acadia National Park. That
Ooh, good
was
spot.
sick. That was awesome. One of the cooler things I've done in a while. Just like seeing all of the sight points, Thunderhole, Jordan Pond, all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, that's those are the big ones, man.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of figured. I know a lot of those pitchers that were on that team are kind of sticks with in golf, so I
Oh
figured
yeah,
you were probably part of the crew that was
100%.
it's been going around there. But um, in terms of did I not hear, by the way? Like I talked to so many guys. They're playing the show these days using the real 99. Is that not you?
I had it last year. I just couldn't get myself to get it this year.
That's fair.
I think it's timing too. I was preoccupied with six other guys playing another game, and I didn't really want to switch over.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I will say this. I saw I'm more of an Xbox guy, so I didn't get all the hype when, the Black Ops thing came out on PlayStation, but I just took myself
Fair enough.
back to when that game initially released, and I'm just like, holy cow, man. Like the amount of hours I probably spent on that, I couldn't even imagine if it just came out now and how many hours I'd
Right.
probably be putting in.
100%, man.
Yeah. All right. So last question here. Obviously, you have spent the year in Portland, so you got a big sample size now going on in terms of getting to kind of explore the city, the food scene, everything. Like, is there any
hmm
places in Portland that you are just like, that is my place?
I gotta think because we just went. You know, my fiance left right before the All-Star break, so I haven't gone to any restaurants since then. So I gotta
Oh,
think. Um, I think, in my opinion, I think High Roller was the best lobster place I went to.
okay.
High Roller.
That's a
Um,
common answer.
yeah. I honestly, right down the street from our apartment, Sea Dog Brewing Company, they had
Yeah,
great food.
good spot.
They had great food. Even right next to our apartment, this Allagash Brewery, they had some good food.
Allagash is great.
Yeah. Um,
See, you sound like a
I think
local
those
right
are
now. I love it.
those are the three that stick out to me. And I had to try, they got the blueberry flavored everything here. So
Yeah.
anytime I go anywhere, I always get the blueberry flavored whatever they
Is
got.
that the one where they like I forgot which brewery it was. Maybe it's I don't know if it's Shipyard or if it's or which one it is where they put the actual blueberries in the beer.
And they didn't do that at Allagash.
Okay,
So
it might be Shipyard downtown.
yeah,
They put the
might have to
actual
check
like
that out.
yeah, dude, I'm telling you, my wife in love with their fall like Shipyard pumpkin ale. Like, oh gosh, it's
Yeah.
incredible. But all right, yeah, sound like a local here. I'm impressed by what you just gave me because I will say this: when
Oh yeah.
guys get called up from Greenville to Portland, I just did this with Anthony Ianson when he got called up. I said, hey, like he was asking me for some recommendations, and I said Luke's Lobster on the Water. That's one of my favorite places. Obviously,
A
High
good
Roller
one.
can't go wrong. And then I said Shipyard because I love their beers there. But I said those are like you can't go wrong with anything down there. But and I saw on his Instagram story the next week he was at all the places I recommended. I was like, hell yeah!
Oh,
So
that's funny.
I have to
And
tell
he's
him to
good.
start going to Max Carlson for their stuff now. So. All
Oh
right,
man.
Max. Well, I appreciate all the time. Obviously, wishing you the best as we close out 2026 here. But thank you for hopping on and doing this.
Yeah, of course. No problem. I appreciate you having me. It was a good time.